If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to MMOXP.com. There will be a link in the description. They are the cheapest and safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for a 5% discount. Now, guys, I've been seeing this sort of question or comment in a lot of different places recently on really the internet in general, especially if you're in the gaming world. And that's kind of right here, which is just everything feels different. Why does gaming just not feel the same anymore? Am I broken? Is this what growing up feels like? This is obviously Call of Duty in the thumbnail there, but this goes for pretty much every game out there. You guys know FIFA has been very similar to that. Now, I actually have not watched this video specifically. It does say I have down in the bottom. It says I've got like the red lines there, but I clicked on it just to save it, so I had it later, and I didn't watch it. So I want to kind of give my thoughts on why we feel this way without watching this specific video here. I kind of want to give you my thoughts and see if you guys agree with me or what your guys' thoughts are behind this as to why gaming just doesn't feel like it used to. Is it just nostalgia? Is it just us growing up and becoming more cynical human beings? Like what exactly is it, right? You look at Reddit right now, and when we are in lulls of the game, basically on Twitter and Reddit, it's just a nostalgia trip of like, hey, remember this, right? Just came up on my Facebook, this FIFA 13 image here with Royce Gertza, David Villa Fabregas, right? Like just straight nostalgia you see on social media and stuff like that, and it gets a ton of engagement. Ivory Toast as well. This does not seem to be like a niche thing. This is kind of all over the place, right? And I've done quite a bit of research over the last, I'd say maybe like a couple hours, okay? Extensive research over 120 minutes, okay? I kind of wanted to see if my initial gut feeling as to why this happens is correct, and I think that it's kind of the best conclusion that I can reach here, so anyway, let's talk about it. I think the biggest reason right now as to why you feel like gaming isn't the same, why everybody feels like, hey, am I broken? Why does no game feel like it did? No game out there pretty much feels like it did when we were younger. And I think that there is a couple of reasons. And the first reason is that, as you guys know now, games are just completely made differently than how they used to be. The biggest like buzzword in game development is engagement, because that is the most important piece of people spending money on your game, which is the point in making games, to make money. Now, that's actually always been the reason, but we'll talk about why it is more of a problem now than it was. So if you guys don't know, there's the 3 P's of video game engagement: a passkey to the intentions of continue playing, purchasing virtual items, and player recruitment. And there's many studies done on basically what keeps people on the game as long as possible, right? What is it? And if you look through this study here, there's a ton of different data about it as to what keeps people playing your game and especially spending money on your game, right? We have more data on this than we ever had before. We also have companies hiring psychologists to make games more addicting, which is fucking crazy. Go look at job openings right now in gaming psychology and you will find a shit ton. And to sum up basically all of this here in a couple of sentences, I'm going to read this right here. If game developers want the player to purchase virtual game items, which is what EA basically only want you to do, and recruit new players, which they also want to do because that would help them make more money, gamers must have engagement with the games they play. In playing games, reaching the engagement stage cannot be completed in just one play. They need to come back to play over and over and get what they are looking for. So I think the biggest culprit, more than us getting older, which is definitely a part of it because you don't have that same maybe love for gaming that you once did. I think I still personally do myself, but some people out there just don't have that anymore. The biggest reason more than any to me, and it's extremely predatory by the way, is that games are not made for fun anymore. The business philosophy behind it is no longer, okay, if they like the game more, they'll spend more time on it equals us more dollars. We have more research saying, well, that's not actually the case. Engagement now actually makes the most money. So this is how games are made now. Purely engagement, not fun, not enjoyment, which I think used to be much more of a factor. I think there's always been like glimpses of this from long ago, but to the point where we are now, it's never been this bad before. You can tell, you guys know how much EA manipulate every piece of content in this game to make you have to come back. Every single reward structure, rivals rewards, weekend league rewards, squad battles rewards, they have it on a set day because they know for sure they can guarantee you're going to log in on that day, because if you played Rivals, played Weekend League, actually Weekend League can get instantly, but you can only get it at a certain point of the week, right? Just for 3 days. If you played Squad Battles at all during the week, they know they got you on an extra day. That's the whole reason that it exists, because they need to come back to play over and over again to have the most engagement possible. More engagement equals more chances to spend money in the store. So it is no longer based on enjoyment, and this is their design philosophy philosophy, and this is just EA's. Also, I think Call of Duty's is a very similar thing. Everything feels different now, partly because, yes, you are older, but I actually think the main reason behind this, we've all gone so overboard with engagement that they are forgetting one integral piece of even this study. This sentence right here, the result of the study is in line with previous research which showed enjoyment as a significant predictor on people playing the game longer and spending money on it. Gamers prioritize the aspect of enjoyment, as the absence of it could result in disinterest towards playing. I think EA have really gone so far in the direction of engagement. We have to get them on day after day after day, and that's it, really. It's our only priority. That they've forgotten, oh yeah, we do have to make sure that they enjoy it. That's what we have to make sure that they do. And right now, they've done a very bad job at that. And a big part of why I think FIFA is also really struggling badly with this, and games like COD right now, COD's kind of in a bit of a resurgence, right? One of the reasons for that, they've also kind of, hey, gone back to their roots a bit. We've gotten a lot of changes back in BO6 that have been gone in a lot of the previous Call of Duties since COVID, basically. A big piece FIFA does not have here is gamers continue to play because they can interact with friends, and this social interaction will provide an optimal experience in playing games. It's hard to play with friends in FIFA. It genuinely is, especially an Ultimate Team. If you play an Ultimate Team and you want to play co-op, it's hard to do that if you're not of similar skill level. In fact, you would argue that it's basically, you wouldn't want to do it if you're not of similar skill level at all. So FIFA also doesn't have this sort of social interaction that other games have, like Call of Duty, where they can kind of get away with maybe more stuff because you're playing with your friends, right? So of course you're going to feel a difference in games recently over the last, maybe you would say 5 years, right? When the game developers themselves, their main intention isn't even fun. That's not even their main goal. You have to have some fun, but engagement and retention is actually their main goal. So of course you're going to feel like this actually isn't that fun. Why isn't it as fun as it used to be? Well, they don't really give a shit about the fun anymore. And not only that, in FIFA, it's actually far worse in FIFA because you also have EA hiring psychologists to attempt to get you to be addicted to more packs. It was Reddit post from 6 years ago. I think EA hired psychologists to get you addicted to FUT. It wasn't even a secret 6 years ago. There's no thought about it. Already known. So do Blizzard, Epic, Sony, Microsoft, etc. There's been job openings over the past years saying, hey, we're hiring a PhD in psychology. You will work on FIFA. So, I mean, it's just so predatory that people are going to be able to see through that eventually. Like, you're going to be able to see, like, hey, what's the deal? What is going on? I think this is where EA's mistake is kind of lied, is that I think they think to themselves, like, oh my God, we have the perfect plan. We know exactly what gets them to play more, and they're never going to see it coming. It's like, people can see through a lot of this stuff. I mean, yes, you have people who are addicted to the game that maybe even can see through it, but can't even help themselves, but spend more money on the game, right? That's always a thing too. But people are not dumb. When you abandon everything that was fun and you add things in strictly for engagement numbers, oops, where'd half my player base go? Well, a fourth of my player base is like purely addicted now, but I lost 3/4 of it. What happened? Well, if the leopards didn't eat my face, I mean, it's exactly what you wanted to have happen. You're so caught up in engagement, so caught up in how do we get you to the store? We need you to go to the store so bad. Our shareholders need more money, and we need more dopamine hits in the store. Younger people start buying FIFA points. How do we get them in younger? You know, when you start doing this, oh yeah, like, it's easy to see what the plan's been all along. To me, the biggest reason as to why everything just feels different is because games are made differently nowadays. I think you are growing up, if you're like in your mid-20s or 30s or something like that. If you're growing up, you grew up on games, but now you're basically an adult, right? Yes, you're gonna have some sort of cynicism that you probably didn't have when you were younger. I think that plays a part of it. Just, I think it's not nearly as big of a part at all as the fundamental change in game development. So, no, you are not broken, okay? You're probably playing games wondering, where the hell is the fun? Well, the game devs half the time don't even know where the fuck the fun is because they didn't make the game with the fun firstly in mind. So that's kind of what I think about it, and over the articles I've looked at and studies I've looked at and things we know about EA over the course of the last 5, 6, 7 years, right? Taking everything away from the user slowly and then drip feeding it back to us. The slow evolution of everything to the store because they have to constantly worry about making more money than they did last year, which is eventually just not going to happen, by the way. They're eventually not going to be able to do that. So then what do? I don't know. They probably don't even fucking plan for that. And we probably have to wait until a year goes by where they didn't meet projections, where they don't meet that, just for them to actually make significant changes and be like, okay, well, maybe our engagement philosophy not working too well. Maybe we should go back a little bit to the roots. Which Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, if you guys didn't know, sold terribly. Black Ops 6 selling greatly. They went back to the roots a little bit. Maybe that helps more companies also end up going to a similar path. Maybe that could be Cope, of course, but just one example. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments about everything that you guys are thinking, if you agree with me or disagree with me. Thanks for being on the second channel. I love you all. Thanks for so much.